Mamdani forced to clarify relative invoked in viral Islamophobia anecdote as questions swirl. But he just got caught in a lie. I mean, it's 2025. We got the internet. We got tons of internet sleuths. I don't know why these politicians go around thinking they can just make stuff up like they're not going to be fact checked. I don't understand it. I don't get it. If y'all don't know, Mamdani had brought up his so-called aunt, who was like who he claimed was like one of the worst people affected by 9/11 because she was treated poorly and all these other things here in the United States right after 9/11, according to him. Come to find out, this aunt that he mentioned wasn't even in the United States at the time during September 11th. So he's just a liar. He got caught in a lie. He's trying to backtrack and play it off and say, oh, no, I meant my dad's cousin, who we call our aunt or whatever. I'm going to play the clip of his explanation, which makes absolutely no sense. But we're going to talk about it. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. There's a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this comes from Fox News. And again, we'll get to the clip in a second, but they report that New York City socialist mayor candidate Zohran Mamdani offered up a clarification on Monday about an anecdote that sparked controversy on social media related to an anecdote he told about his quote-unquote aunt not using the subway in New York due to post 9/11 Islamophobia. But let's get to the clip and hear his explanation behind it. Here we go.
I was speaking about my aunt. I was speaking about Zerafui, my father's cousin, who sadly passed away a few years ago. And for the takeaway from my more than 10-minute address about Islamophobia in this race and in this city to be the question of my aunt tells you everything about Andrew Cuomo and his inability to reckon with a crisis of his own making.
No, you lied and you got called out. That's all there is to it. Like, I don't understand like how he got caught and he's trying to play it off.
And Chad,
oops, sorry about that. He got caught and he was trying to play it off. It's just this part for the course for these leftists. They just continue to make things up when they don't really have stories or to back their things, the things up that they believe in or what they say. They just have to make it up like he did. How many times these leftists get caught time and time again making up people, making up stories, making up things? Well, shortly after that clip hit the internet, a wave of criticism hit from conservatives and internet sleuths who poked holes in the story and suggested Mamdani had embellished it, pointing to his one direct biological aunt, Dr. Masuma Mamdani, listing on her LinkedIn that she worked and presumably lived in Tanzania from January 2000 to December 2003. Additionally, publicly available photos of Masuma Mamdani don't show her wearing a hijab. So she don't even wear it. The controversy reached the White House in the form of a post on X from Vice President J.D. Vance, who expressed skepticism about the story. Quote, according to Zohran, the real victim of 9/11 was his auntie, who got some allegedly bad looks. the president wrote, the vice president wrote. Okay. Some bad looks. People died on that day. This dude is despicable for even pointing to that. And this is 2025. There might have been a little bit of Islamophobia and fear mongering and stuff going on back after 9/11. But this is 2025. People don't treat Muslims like that anymore. I frequent restaurants owned by Muslims and see Muslims all the time. Got no issues with them. In fact, some of the oldest protectors of Christians was actually Muslim. A lot of people don't even know that. They used to protect the Christians in the Middle East. There's a whole family that was their job, was to protect Christians. They don't talk about things like that. So we don't have no ill will towards Muslims, But what Mamdani has done is just lied. It's despicable. He just making stuff up. So that's all they got. Mamdani's father, Mahmoud, who Zohran Mamdani says is the cousin of the deceased aunt, has faced criticism during the campaign for his past controversial statements as a professor at Columbia University, including a claim that Hitler was inspired by Abraham Lincoln, which resurfaced on social media in recent days. Mahmoud Mamdani also sits on the advisory council of an anti-Israel organization that supports boycotts and sanctions of Israel and routinely accused the Israeli government of committing genocide. I don't disagree with that. Be honest with you. I don't disagree with that. If people want to boycott Israel, you got every right to boycott Israel. Just because you're Israel don't give you protections and you're beyond reproach is ridiculous. I never agree with that. Quote, suicide bombing needs to be understood as a feature of modern political violence rather than stigmatized as a mark of barbarism, the elder Mamdani wrote in his 2004 book, Good Muslim, Bad Muslim, America, the Cold War and the Roots of Terror. I mean, anyone excusing suicide bombings or bombings in general, anyone excusing that is despicable. And this is Mamdani's dad, so the apple probably don't fall from the tree, right? He said, quote, we need to recognize the suicide bomber first and foremost as a category of soldier. That's ridiculous. Zohran Mamdani has pushed back in recent days against critics of his various anti-Israel policies and statements dating back to his time in college and suggested that those criticisms are rooted in anti-Muslim bigotry. No, if you spewing hate, like I have no problem with people, not liking what Israel's doing. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with people wanting to boycott Israel. We're Americans. We're allowed to boycott and stuff like that. I got no issues with that. But when you're calling for violence, when you're calling for things like that, no matter who the individual is or the group is wrong. And I disavow that. And this is another reason why I'm not a big fan of Mamdani, because we know what he is. And the mainstream media is trying to pretend like he isn't that. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave y'all comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.